Hello, everyone. I am Shawnta Jackson. I am a leader, mother, author, social entrepreneur, and talk show host with a vision to help people to help themselves and others. And you are tuned into Connections with Shawnta Jackson. At Connections, as professionals, what we do is we make the most out of professional networking, career advancement, and business growth via live, unscripted, and unedited conversations with like-minded individuals. We are streaming live on both Facebook and YouTube. And I'm pleased to announce that, thank you for one. Thank you to my sponsor for today, Ambient Journeys. My favorite travel agent is Amber Jackson, and you can learn more about her at ambientjourneys.com. And then also to my host for today. I'm in Las Vegas recording live from Hot 702.5 FM internet radio station. And I'm actually in the Hotcast room. And so thank you so much, Carice, Risky Radio, and Hot 702.5 FM for allowing me to grace your presence today. And so today on Connections is we're live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And again, we're professionals and we're networking. And my next guest is a connection on LinkedIn. His name is Shawn Dove. And he is I like to say subject matter expert, but I know a lot of people don't like to be referred as that. But he is a consultant in the field of Black male achievement. In addition to consulting, he's also a publisher. And so he'll tell us a little bit about his journey in the field of nonprofit and the field of the arena of Black male achievement and what he's up to now. And hopefully we can make some connections. Thank you, everyone. And at this time, I'll bring on Shawn Dove.
Wow. Live with Shawnta Jackson. You didn't tell me you were taking me into the Risky Radio Hotcast room. You just like raised the bar a little bit for me.
Yeah, and you know what? She's really risky. Carice, my cousin, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and she left her corporate job, her six-figure job, to pursue her vision and her dreams of having an internet radio station. And she has over 1 million listeners now.
Wow.
And yes, and she's providing a platform for a lot of other radio talk show hosts here in Las Vegas. But her reach is beyond Las Vegas with the station. It's international, actually, and they have a lot of nationally syndicated shows that are streamed live on the online radio station Hot 702 FM.
I love that. And, part of one of my mission mantras, Shawnta, is that we as Black folks have to become masters of our own media and tell our own stories and craft our own narratives. And in this day and age with technology, becoming the masters of our own media, the pathway to that is so much easier and less obstacles. And, once upon a time, there used to be gatekeepers for doing something like this. And just to hear that your cousin has 1 million listeners, she's doing it just like you're doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so speaking of telling your own story, and you've decided to, just throughout your career, to change the narrative as it relates to Black families and in particular Black males. Could you tell us a little bit about just the phrase Black male achievement? What does that mean?
Sure. And it's when you think about a Black person, or specifically a Black boy born in America. And when I think of achievement is being able to have the opportunity to realize your God-given gifts, your God-given living. I believe that we were all born for a purpose. And when I think of Black male achievement and I make a declaration for Black male achievement and raise that flag, that means that I am connecting leaders, helping to build capacity of organizations, telling stories that really tap into the potential of Black men and boys to realize, why they were called, their purpose. And I think it's really important to say, because you mentioned families earlier, sometimes when you raise a flag for one thing, people will automatically say you're against something else. And because my platform and my mission is, focused on Black male achievement, that's the narrow angle lens, right? The wide angle lens is Black families, Black communities. But God has blessed me with a mighty calling and a mission to be a voice for Black male achievement. And I will tell you, Shawnta, if someone would have told me 32 years ago that, if you Google Shawn Dove, that would be synonymous with Black male achievement, first I would have said, what the heck is Google, 31 years ago? And secondly, I would have said, shut up and pass the joint, right? Because from outside, I wasn't necessarily typifying Black male achievement, but it comes in all shapes and sizes. So I am grateful here. And I think also when we talk about Black male achievement, lifting up the health, healing, and well-being of Black men and boys to live in this country is traumatic as a Black man. And so much of our work is like creating spaces in my work to heal. And we do that best in community.
Okay. And thank you so much, Shawn, for that. And for everyone who is tuning in, we are streaming live on both Facebook and YouTube. So please do enter your comments and questions in the chat box. And we have our first check-in for the afternoon. We have Falcon Star Alley, and he's checking in from East Africa.
Wow.
And, Yes. So hi, Falcon. I hope all is well, and I hope that you benefit from this today's broadcast, today's discussion with Shawn Dove. And so, Shawn, you are the former CEO of the Campaign for Black Male Achievement, and you are the current CEO of the Corporation for Black Male Achievement. Why the transition, and what's the difference?
Sure. And so, yes, I'm the founder of the Corporation for Black Male Achievement, which is a publishing and consulting firm that curates community building and leadership development engagements that elevate stories of loving, learning, and leading for and by Black men and boys with a special sweet spot focus for Black boys and young men between the ages of 18 and 25. Life is in the transitions. In those ages, there are gaps that I believe that we need to support our young men and our boys in. And really interesting, in 2008, I launched the Campaign for Black Male Achievement at Open Society Foundations, which is the philanthropy of George Soros. And it was supposed to be a 3-year term-limited campaign to invest in leaders and organizations to improve the life outcomes for Black men and boys. Risk-taking, partnership, timing, we were able to take off those term limits of the 3 years. And around 2011, 2012, I just had this notion that, particularly philanthropy, which can be fickle and shifting with strategic priorities, I said, the nation doesn't need a campaign for Black male achievement. What we truly need is a corporation for Black male achievement, an endowed philanthropic social enterprise to lean into this issue for the generation that it's going to take. We're looking at, 4 centuries of racism and discrimination and oppressive policies. And so I managed to spin off out of the foundation in 2015 and launching my social entrepreneurial spirit. And we ran for 5 years. And at the beginning of last year, we were, right as the pandemic was hitting, we were experiencing some underlying organizational conditions. And we made a very tough decision to sunset the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. And let me tell you, we'll talk about narrative, and often it's the narrative that you're saying to yourself. This is after 12 years of really doing groundbreaking work. I had to talk myself out of a narrative of oh, Shawn, the campaign has failed, you failed, and if you shift, and I was like, no, we were supposed to only be around for 3 years, and look at all the seeds that we have sown, the thousands of leaders and organizations that we have poured into. And I learned at the beginning of this year, as I was recovering from sunsetting, that if you can reframe your seeming failure, you can reframe your future. And I've been saying since 2012, we need a corporation for Black male achievement. And when we sunset the campaign, I was like, well, what are you going to do now? And, you know, a law of nature, as the sun sets on one part of the world, it rises in the other. And I said, this is my calling, right? I'm going to dust myself off. And we incorporated the corporation as an LLC. And it's not an endowed philanthropic enterprise, returning and not necessarily returning, but diving deeper into my publishing and multimedia passion, community building, and consulting. And so we are in the early stages of the Corporation for Black Male Achievement. The beauty of that is that we didn't even have to change the acronym. I have jokingly said to folks, Shawnta, I said, we're going to lean into this, build intellectual property, create publishing products, and ride this till the wheels fall off. If the wheels fall off, we may create the church for Black male achievement, or the club for Black male achievement, or the circus for Black male achievement. CBMA is the acronym that I'm leaning into. So it is an exciting time. It is a scary time. And one of the things that I've recently have just been affirmed with is that two things can be true at the same time. And I know that you know this as an entrepreneur, that you can be brave and afraid at the same time.
Yes, definitely. Brave and afraid at the same time. And there's actually this book that that I'm reading. It's called The Dream Giver. Are you familiar with that book?
The Dream Giver, no.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's basically it's a parable, and so it would be in the category of self-help and a Christian.
Wilkinson wrote that book, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Go ahead.
And so The Dream Giver, everyone, it's a parable, and it's a story about ordinary and ordinary lived in the land of familiar, and the book talks about the journey that ordinary had to go through as far as with family, the other ordinary people, and he decided to leave the land of ordinary, but then he went into the comfort zone, and the challenges, and then he was able to connect with faith, and he got lost, and he would climb up to the mountain and look around, and he would find faith, and that's the direction to go. And so it's a really good book. And so speaking of being brave and afraid at the same time, reading that book, I've always had this vision for myself to create these various media platforms, and I've always, even in my background is in public health, and so I wanted to do public health TV. I wanted to, just these different things. But reading that book, I was afraid to do it. But Connections, this is my fourth episode of Connections with Shawnta Jackson. I stream live on Saturdays as well, and Saturdays is live with Shawnta Jackson, and it's more so that personal development and self-help. But this Wednesday focus is the professionals. And sometimes you can be intimidated, or I'll speak for myself. I was a little intimidated to kind of start because, I'm recruiting from LinkedIn. I'm connecting with people on LinkedIn. And even though we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, the intent is to stream on LinkedIn. And, so you have people, a different eye, a different audience, right? And so you have to, again, like you said, you have to be, it's okay to have some doubt. It's okay to be scared, but you got to be brave at the same time and just do it.
And you took a leap. And in that book by Roy Wilkinson, and I remember it is in my Kindle, and I didn't finish it, but I started reading it a few years ago. There was a group of people as Ordinary was traveling. I don't know if they were the naysayers or the doubters, but there was a group of discouragers that would tell him that his dream was not possible. You better go back to your a comfort zone. And I will always remember Terry Williams. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She wrote The Personal Touch. She wrote Black Pain, and she's was a PR maven. And I remember in the late 90s when I was running a youth newspaper in Harlem called Harlem Overheard, she came and she spoke to the young folks, and she said to them, and I think she was also saying it to me, if you are not leaving your house most days to do without butterflies in your stomach, to do what you were called to do, then you are not living to your full potential. And so I learned to like embrace the butterflies. But I'm also learning even in my adult years, to focus more on intrinsic and internal validation and self-worth, and ignore the external naysayers. And what the pandemic has taught us and has amplified is that life is fragile, right? We have lost so many people. And one of my mission mantras is tomorrow's not guaranteed. So stop stalling on your calling and just jump in. It's one thing for me telling other folks to do that, right? It's a whole different thing when I have to tell myself to do it and make the leap. And so I'm proud of you, proud of myself, and, not sitting on the sidelines.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm proud of you as well. Thank you for your kind words. And we have the Dr. Reverend Lanita Etna Jenkins. She's checking in from Prince George's County, Maryland. And she says, embrace the butterflies. They survive changes in their lives. And also she says that God gives us all dreams and can make them happen. And in that book that I referenced, The Dream Giver, it was a dream that he was pursuing. But once he realized it, he realized that it wasn't his dream, it was his purpose. And so, yeah. And so that's why I like to say, my vision is to help people my vision, is to help people to help themselves and others. And sometimes we have different ideas. And if you think about all of the, your career path, all of the jobs that you've ever had, entry level, even if you didn't like it and if you enjoyed it, just everything that you've ever done in life, and even your social circle, the leadership and volunteer opportunities that you've had, whether it's in a community setting or a church setting, all of those things have prepared you for where you are at right now. And sometimes you're focused on what you think your mission and what your goals and your objectives are, but it's usually a bigger picture. And sometimes you don't realize that until you're further along into your journey.
That is so true. And, God has said to me, Shawn, don't ask me for another new idea. Curate, parlay, multiply, and steward everything that I've already given you. So what I'm doing now with publishing and building community, providing platforms for other voices. I am also on August 28th coming out with my first book called I Too Am America, on loving and leading Black boys. That has long been my purpose, right? Poetry saved my life as a adolescent. And I look at, your history leaves clues, right? And I look at my journey, my leadership journey. It has always entailed publishing, speaking, inspiring. And sometimes we need to go and have some preparation to get to where we need to go. And so I fully agree with you about it's all preparation, right? Even the stuff that we think is quote unquote bad, right? No, it's all good. In the moment, it may seem like it, but it's all a preparation.
Okay, and thank you for that. And we have Shantu. Shantu is listening in, and he's continuing to connect and learn. And he's in Prince George's County, Maryland. Okay, so let's. I want to give you the opportunity to promote your business and your services. And so you mentioned consulting and publishing, but could you go into more detail about the types of specific services and who are your clients?
Sure, sure. And so, one of the things I've been saying, Shawnta, I had a leader within my network, Precious Stroud, send me a quote by Arundhati Roy, who was a famous Indian novelist. And Arundhati Roy said last year, she said that historically pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next, right? And so we're having this conversation. I'm like going through this portal, right? And so I've had an opportunity since the transition to facilitate community building networks. One of the clients is with the Center for Urban Families and the Anna E. Casey Foundation, where we are facilitating a network of leaders in the young fatherhood field and providing technical assistance and capacity building. One of the other clients and work that we're doing presently in 2021 is with the American Express Foundation. And again, facilitating a cohort of 70 social justice leaders from across the country, taking them through the American Express Leadership Academy. And I realize I've been doing that type of community building and gathering all my life, right? I go back to when I was in college and organizing poetry readings. It was an opportunity for me to read my really bad poetry, but it was also an opportunity to elevate others. So that's the work that we are doing. The first publishing product is the book that I just shared, I Too Am America, and your listeners can pre-order the book. We just launched the pre-order platform yesterday, so they can go to dovesource.com, and pre-order the book. And I Too Am America is equal parts memoir and me telling my story as a Black baby boy born in New York City and my coming of age. But it's also a historical account of the campaign for Black male achievement and the work that a bunch of leaders did to create this current movement of Black male achievement. And it's also a manifesto of where do we go from here. And I probably love that part of the book most because the manifesto part is a compilation of many manifestos by leaders in the Black male achievement field. And so the book provides a platform and a voice for others. And so truly excited about that, and ask that your listeners go to dovesource.com, check it out, check me out, and pre-order the book.
Okay, and thank you. So you're doing a lot, and just even the clients that you mentioned with the cohort. So with the American Express Foundation, with the 70 individuals from across the United States, and you have a cohort. I can just imagine the planning and preparation, the implementation, the follow-up, and the coaching, and the different things that are involved with that, and then the community building, the other community building that you're doing. And so I'm speaking with you, Shawn Dove, of the Corporation for Black Male Achievement and of dovesource.com. But I know that Shawn Dove can't do this by himself. So tell me a little bit about your team that you've built, and if you're actually looking to expand your team.
Sure. So we are certainly in the infancy and the fetal stages, right? And so we have a team of about 5 folks that are helping with publishing, public relations, editorial, and the business aspect right now. And quite frankly, I think that you look at a purpose, which is at the heart of what I am doing. People and the folks that are on your team is critical, and then the partnerships, right? And so, quite frankly, I am approaching this with a long view, right, and not rushing to hire and build a team right now, right? Got a couple of consultants working with me, and looking to see what other partners that we will bring in onto the team. But we have about 5 folks right now.
That's great. And I'll tell you a little bit about my business model in a second. But everyone, Shawn Dove, he is the founder of the Corporation for Black Male Achievement, and he offers consultation, community building services, and then also publishing to help build voices, create stories for individuals who are also in the space of Black male achievement. Please do connect with Shawn on LinkedIn, and his screen name is on the screen. So Shawn Dove, please do connect with him on LinkedIn. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. My screen name is showing on the screen. It's Shawnta Jackson, MPH. And you can also connect with Shawn on Twitter at Dove Soars, and on Instagram at Shawn_Dove. And then, of course, I am on Instagram and Facebook at the Shawnta Jackson, and Twitter at Shawnta Tweets. And so you mentioned, and it's wise of you sometimes, and actually a team of 5 on the publishing side and the consultants that you're working with. That's pretty good, because sometimes we get too big, too far, too wide. But one of the things that I do with my company, Cause Engagement Associates, and is I am my only employee. And my business model, what I do is I have associate consultants who we sign agreements of individual agreements and scope of work together, but it's on an as needed project basis. And so if you visit my website, causeengagement.com, you can learn more about my associate consultants, who are also entrepreneurs themselves. So they also own consulting companies. So when whatever situation is most appropriate, they are coming in as an associate consultant under Cause Engagement Associates, or sometimes I am coming in and my company's coming in as an associate consultant under them. So it just kind of depends on what's most appropriate and who has the lead. And sometimes I actually have leads, but it's if the actual type of service and the leadership required and the management required for it, if it's not under the umbrella of the type of services that we offer, I actually send it to colleagues, and I'm still involved in the project, but just not as the lead contractor or the lead contact on that. So that's how I've been able to survive in this entrepreneurial world, and not have too many expenses, as far as overhead and different costs like that. So.
No, and I think that makes a lot of sense in the world. And I think one of the most valuable things that we both have, I think, is the social capital, and it's the relationships. And I think, your broadcast is appropriately entitled Connections, and making the connections, and having partnerships. And I think that for me, one of the most valuable things that I have as a social entrepreneur is so many folks that just believe in me and believe in the work, right? That are rooting for, yes, me, but also rooting for Black people, rooting for Black men and boys, and finding alignment in that mission, right? And next Tuesday, June 1st, is the 100-year anniversary of the race massacre in Tulsa and Black Wall Street, right? And when you think about that, we are all have an entrepreneurial spirit, right? And some of us are entrepreneurs, right? That we work within larger organizations. Some of us are entrepreneurs and we start our own businesses. The thing that I would say to the folks that are listening, whether you are an entrepreneur or you're working for an organization, is to really tap into that which you know you are called to do. That thing that you hit your head when your head hits the pillow at night, that's asking you, when are you going to realize this dream? And take the leap, right? Take the leap. Yes, plan it out. Yes, get partners. But I always talk about that whole double Dutch rocking, right? And I tell the story of growing up on 119th Street and Lenox Avenue and playing freeze tag and hot peas and butter and the girls that would be doing double Dutch. Not all girls, but mostly girls. And I would come over and I would fake and act like I was going to jump into the double Dutch, right? Ropes. I didn't know how to double Dutch. I still don't. I don't know. Do you know how to double Dutch?
No.
You know how to double Dutch, right? But so many times, there's a rhythm to it, right? You're rocking back and forth. So you're trying to get into the rhythm, right? Get into the rhythm of life. And then you jump in and you start jumping, right? Sometimes you're fine and you do it often enough. You can do tricks and whatnot. But you will never know what you can do until you jump in, right? And so I've just been blessed over my 58 years to be able to innovate and create, have so many people mentor me and believe in me and provide me with platforms to create platforms for others. And that's the work that I'm continuing to do now.
Yes, and actually your business, so you're a social entrepreneur and your business is to mentor. You're mentoring, and as far as folks with resources and who may be decision makers and who may be able to serve as a partner with you, you're also educating them. So you're educating the stakeholders, you're educating the philanthropic community on what is needed. But I actually think it was smart. I think it was a natural, smart move, even though that probably wasn't your intention, but to transfer over from having a public charity, a nonprofit organization, to a private for-profit organization. Why not? And you can always have your if you decided again to have your foundational organization that you can find or found, should I say? Yeah.
And that wasn't my plan, Shawnta. My plan was to seamlessly shift into the not-for-profit, the Corporation for Black Military being a not-for-profit, right? But we have our plans, and God has His plans, and this is the way that it worked out, right? And when we launched the pre-orders for my book yesterday, it was a really surreal feeling, right? Because I said, Shawn, you've been talking about this for 8 years now, right? And something had to end in order for this to begin, right? And so, this is the whole, not lamenting what you lost, but loving what you still have left, right? And then building on what you still have left.
Yes, thank you, everyone. This is Connections with Shawnta Jackson, and thank you to my guest, Shawn Dove of New York City. And Connections, again, is our opportunity as professionals to make the most out of networking, career advancement, and business growth via unscripted, unedited live chats with like-minded individuals. It is my wish, it is my hope, and it is my dream that you've benefited from this conversation. And again, I do encourage you to connect with Shawn Dove on social media, especially LinkedIn, and then also connect with me on social media and on LinkedIn. And my screen name is on the screen for LinkedIn. It's Shawnta Jackson, MPH for LinkedIn. Everyone have a great day. I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And this is Connections with Shawnta Jackson, and I look forward to just our further growth together. Thank you so much, and thank you, Shawn.
Thank you, Shawnta, for having me.